Have you ever felt like your mind just won't stop? Like your thoughts keep running, louder than traffic, faster than a storm. You lie awake at night, replaying old memories. You wake up worrying about a future that hasn't even happened yet. And deep inside, you whisper to yourself, I just want peace. If you've ever felt like this, then today's story is for you. Because sometimes, the biggest battles we fight are the ones inside our own mind. So sit back, breathe, and let this story touch your heart. Once upon a time, in a quiet little village surrounded by tall mountains, lived a 24-year-old young man named Marco. On the outside, he looked normal, healthy, young, smart, but inside, his mind was a storm. Every single day, old regrets from the past pulled him backward. Fears of the future pushed him forward. His thoughts never let him rest. He couldn't sleep. He couldn't smile. He couldn't enjoy anything. And the worst part, he felt like he was losing himself. One evening, while sitting alone under a tree, Marco heard something interesting from travelers passing through his village. They said, in a village far away in the hills, lives a wise old man. He was once a famous psychologist in the city. He helped thousands of people find peace. That one sentence lit a spark of hope inside Marco. For the first time in years, he felt a direction. He thought, maybe he can help me too. Without wasting another day, Marco packed his bag and left. He walked for days through forests, muddy roads, and steep hills. His feet hurt, his back ached, but his heart whispered, keep going. Finally, one morning, he reached the peaceful hill village. There, surrounded by flowers and quiet breeze, stood a small house covered in green vines. On its porch, sitting calmly, eyes closed, was the old man. His presence alone felt like silence. Marco slowly walked up and said, almost in a broken voice, Grandfather, my mind is restless. It never stops thinking. I want peace. Please, can you help me? The old man opened his eyes with a gentle smile, as if he had been expecting Marco all along. He said, so you are searching for peace. Good, come, I will give you a small task. He took Marco to his yard, filled a glass with water completely to the top, and handed it to him. Walk to the edge of the village, he said, and come back. But remember, don't spill even one drop of water. Marco looked confused. This wasn't what he expected, but he nodded and started walking. The path was narrow. People were walking around him. Children were playing. Dogs were barking. Shopkeepers were shouting. But Marco didn't look at any of them, not once. His entire focus was on the glass. Step by step, slow, careful, steady. Finally, after a long walk, he came back with the water still full to the top. Grandfather, Marco said proudly, I did it. I didn't spill a single drop. The old man smiled. Good, he said softly, but tell me, did you notice the children laughing on the road? Marco shook his head. No. Did you hear the dogs barking? No. I didn't. I was focused only on the glass. The old man looked into his eyes and said words Marco would never forget. That is the secret of peace. When your mind stays in the present moment, there is no space for fear, no space for regret, no space for confusion. You are not thinking about your past. You are not worrying about your future. You are living only in this moment, and that brought you peace. Marco stood silent. Everything suddenly made sense. Peace wasn't lost. It wasn't something outside. It was always inside him, buried under his thoughts. He bowed his head and whispered, "Grandfather, I understand now. To calm my mind, I must learn to stay in this moment." The old man smiled as the sun slowly set behind the mountains. Birds flew back to their nests. The sky turned golden dot, and Marco walked home, not as the same restless young man, but as someone who had finally learned how to silence the storm. Inside, peace doesn't come from controlling the world around you. It comes from controlling the world within you. When you focus on this moment, not yesterday, not tomorrow, your mind becomes quiet. Your heart becomes lighter, and peace finds you naturally. If Marco's journey touched your heart, remember this: your mind is like that glass of water. What you choose to focus on becomes your reality. Choose the present. Choose peace. Choose yourself. Thank you for watching Wrillex Tales. If this story inspired you, give it a like. Share it with someone who needs peace today. And subscribe for more powerful stories that change the way you think and live. Until next time, stay strong, stay present, and stay peaceful. We'll meet again in the next story.